Hi, this is Troy Hunt, and welcome to Ethical Hacking Cloud Computing. In this course, we're going to talk a lot about the security implications of the cloud. And as we progress through this course, you'll see that there are both many very good things about security in the cloud, as well as many new risks that we didn't really have before we had this concept of cloud. We're going to talk about what those new risks are, and indeed we're going to talk about how the cloud can be used to build more secure software than what we've been able to in the past. And then we'll round out the course by looking at how we can harden the cloud. So how can we take these cloud computing paradigms and make them as strong as we possibly can? I want to start out on this module though by talking about cloud computing concepts. Let's go and take a look at what we'll cover. Firstly, regardless of how familiar you already are with cloud computing, you'll certainly be familiar with the term, and you'll almost certainly be aware that it has brought about huge change to how we manage infrastructure. And we're particularly talking about the change from on-premise hosting of data centers to putting things up in this amorphous blob which we often call the cloud. And that brings me to the next point, in that the cloud is described in these really vague terms. You'll hear people say, oh, my data is in the cloud. But what specifically is the cloud? There is actually a very clear definition for it, and that's one of the things we're going to start out with in this module, because I want to make sure that when we say the cloud, we're all clear about precisely what the cloud actually is. What this means is that we're going to talk about some very clearly defined industry definitions of what makes something cloud. We're going to look at different architectures of the way cloud is built. We'll look at some different deployment models, and then we'll talk a bit about why so many people are going cloud. So what is the promise of cloud? The final thing that I want to touch on in this module is to address a question which I hear very frequently when it comes to cloud computing, and that is whether or not the cloud is secure. I'm going to talk about why that is actually not a very good question, and then as we progress through the rest of the course, we will answer that with specifics. So that's what we're going to cover. Let's now move on, and I want to start talking about this change from on-premise to cloud.